Man, I am stoked about this band today. It is with a band called Lawrence. The front of house guy is a guy by the name of Leo Pisaq. Truly incredible dude. The band Lawrence is a brother and sister, Clyde and Gracie Lawrence. The band is incredible. It's an 8-piece band, and they are so unique because each band member has a job other than the music that they're playing. Nobody just comes in and walks on stage and plays music. Everybody has a job, whether it be merch, whether it be load in, whether it be helping getting the ears or the drum tech or the guitar tech. They're all doing it. It's so special and so unique that I went to multiple of their shows. I did one in North Carolina and then one in Atlanta. Huge fan of this band. If you're not have not heard of them, I'm gonna post a couple of their links below. Their amazing YouTube acoustic recordings that they did are just incredible. One of my favorite things that they did is for their VIP and Super VIP. For their Super VIP, they actually brought the fans in and they put the stems of their songs on the LED walls, and they walked them through different parts of the song and different hits and things they like and things they wish they would have done better. And it gave the fans such a cool opportunity to see and take so much value in the show and value in that song. You could see it translated into when the song hit. Those fans look and they saw when those horns hit or when that one part came in, they got really excited. It was something that it was so cool to see that connection. So I'm excited for you to watch this. It's one of my favorite bands, such an amazing crew, such amazing band members. Huge shout out to Lawrence, huge shout out to the crew for allowing me to come and share this story. If you want to support this channel, please, please, please go to Patreon. We've got stuff for free, we got stuff for paid options. We are doing a bunch of behind the scenes stuff. We're gonna be doing live streams, live question and answers with some of the people that you've seen on this channel. Huge shout out to Guitar Center Professional for supporting this channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting this. Guys, GC Pro, I've said this before, you've heard it, they are nationwide, but they've got a guy physically in every single state. Reach out, go to my link below, they'll get you connected with somebody local, and they will, if you're just looking for some equipment, if you are a church, if you are a recording studio, if you're a band looking to get loaded up with gear, it doesn't matter what level with it, or if you're a venue looking and you need designs for your entire venue, go to the link below and they will connect you. Without further ado, let's go.
Surround yourself with people that appreciate good sound. That whatever good sound, first of all, teach yourself what good sound is, whatever that means. And then surround yourself with people that appreciate good sound the way you like it and the way you like doing it. And that would be my advice.
I'm here with Leo Pisaq. He runs sound for
Lawrence the band.
Thank you guys so much for watching this channel. If you want to support this channel, please log on to Patreon. There's great membership benefits, great tiers, and early access to all these videos. Thank you again. I'll see you soon. Today's an odd day. And we did this interview once in North Carolina, and schedules changed, so we were able to do it here, also in Atlanta.
Indeed.
But we are like an hour away from a tropical storm. So some things are still up in the air, but it gives us some time to talk.
We're during sound check time. It's just vibes are so chill that everybody's just backstage.
You guys get background music for what we're doing.
Yeah.
What got you into running sound?
What got me into running sound? I'm a son of a musician. My dad is a guitar player.
Son of a musician.
I'm a son of a musician. I remember my first fun memories when he brought me to work. I was in the control room, and I remember the guy sitting at the control room desk being the cool guy in the world. I remember that was what I wanted to do, truly. And that's kind of been the path that I chose. Through being a musician also on the way, but ended up in front of this wonderful console.
Do you play?
I do play a little bit of everything, master of none. I have my music, I'm a published composer, I have my music out there. Organic, spelled A-U, if I can shout out myself.
You can
I shout out myself?
Absolutely. Please shout out yourself.
Yes.
We can put whatever links down below that you want.
Let's go.
Let's back it up a little bit. Where are you from?
I was born in the USSR a long time ago in the 80s. So it is from a different time and a different star on a different star.
So did you do any sort of music stuff in the USSR, or was it mainly when you came to America that you got into it?
I did do in my teenagehood. I spent my teenagehood in Israel. I did do a lot of like DIY scene, punk rock, metal shows, just doing every possible club there is, and just that knowledge of being on stage is definitely something that I carry onto this, and definitely something that I had. Contribute to my life, but I'm not looking forward to standing on stage anymore.
Tell me about your first time behind a soundboard.
First time behind a soundboard.
And do you remember what drew you to it?
Probably like a rehearsal space. He drew to me just being deferred to as like the techie person.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I was always the person who took the initiative on figuring out the knobs. And we're talking about late 90s, right, is when I started. Alan Heath, GLs, and them. First Mix Wizards is what we're talking about. Mackeys, VLZs, all great tools, to learn on. So these were the first mixers that I touched.
Yeah.
Don't remember which one was the first. Possibly like some Yamaha, what's it called? Power something they were called. I forget.
Yeah. You also do studio stuff as well. Which one was first? Was it studio or live? Was it both? What did you?
So I think the studio world and the live world came together for me because I was working on my own music, both in the studio and playing shows. So figuring out the process of mixing music in the studio and kind of transferring the show live and figuring out what like kind of amplifying music in a room.
Yeah.
Together. It was both simultaneous kind of process for me.
Well, there's some very important things that you learn as well, like mic placement, the ability to create a good sound in a nice controlled room, which is great. Totally. I think there's the cool thing about live is that you got one shot.
Indeed.
It happens and then you're done. Whereas studio, you can kind of come back and do it again and do it again.
Absolutely. That's the difference. That's why there's a lot of attention in the pre-show. And we did the stage walkthrough, which cut to B-roll. We did the stage walkthrough, and the mic placement is very important, especially on the drums and things that are kind of show-specific that are in its place, because it gives me the opportunity to maintain the same mix 90+% from night to night.
So with this band, Lawrence, there's a lot of cool things that you have going on. I love the simplicity of what you guys are doing. And the reach of what you guys are doing is fantastic. Everything has been really well thought through, even to the stage being labeled, left and right with colors is really fantastic. It was really a lot proactive instead of,
Indeed.
reactive with stuff. It's really, really cool.
Big shout out to the whole crew, but big fans of labeling things as much as possible, just so it's the easiest to just explain to a person who sees it for the first time. The easiest way. So we have a lot of some might say over-labeling, but it's all for good cause.
So Lawrence is one of my favorite bands, and I grew to appreciate you guys even more once I got to know you guys and get to know the roles that you guys play. Could you explain a little bit that many people may not know that, you guys do all your own stuff. You guys do your own management except for booking stuff. You've got, each band member has a unique position and a unique spot to where they also help out with the tour. There's not anything that's wasted here. You guys are wearing multiple hats and you're all being a part of this greater community.
Indeed, we are a very tight crew. Everything you see behind us travels in a semi-truck with a crew of 4 people. We are audio, lighting, video person. We have a stage manager, and we have a media person who also helps when they're around, but they're not always with us. So we have a very small crew. The band, each person in the band helps as well with the build. Everybody has their tasks. Everything is spreadsheet charted. Everything, we have spreadsheets of all the load and stuff. Emily, our lighting director, has spreadsheets of the truck pack, the order of everything. Yeah. We're big on talking things through. If there's any unusual guest, if there's any unusual thing that is part of the show that suddenly changes, it's always rehearsed. Yeah. It's talked through. The rehearsal process is usually not rehearsing for sound. Like I said, sound is usually unmute and go. The changes on the PA that I need to do are usually within 2 minutes. Sure. If I can't solve it within 2 minutes, it's usually a problem that is more significant than that. So, that's the process.
I love that.
And in the band, everybody carries multiple hats. Again, it's too many to mention, but everybody is also a roadie. That's where also, speaking of crew, time management is very important. We are big on, being on schedule. Being ahead of schedule is obviously better. We have this chill time today because, again, everything is proactive.
How long have you been with this band for?
Oh, yeah. I've been with Lawrence the band for about touring schedule 4 years, and bigger shows before, a couple of years before that. Okay. Maybe 8 years total. I know we've met with Jordan Cohen, the saxophone player, in one of the music stores where I worked at the time. And we just developed a relationship, a professional relationship in gigging musician world over the years. Yeah. And when time came to tour, I was lucky enough to get the call.
So all of you guys are from the Brooklyn area. It's a very tight-knit community, or even just New York based.
Yes, I was based on Long Island for the longest. The band is based in Brooklyn, indeed.
Did you walk into this equipment? Did you spec some of this equipment? Is it something that you kind of, the band already had? Because they own their equipment, right?
Indeed. The band owns this mixer. The band owns their wireless rig that we walked you through. When I just started with the band, it was a QSC Touch Mix.
Sure.
One of those 32 channels.
Yeah.
So this is what the band was touring with for the longest on their own, using it as the monitor desk, using house guys for H-Mix. And the switch to D-Live happened right before the Hotel TV tour in 2020. So, but I walked in on a programmed D-Live system where 64 channels are going to the monitor world, 64 channels are going to the front of house world, independent processing for the monitor mixes, independent processing for me. We are light on effects. That's, I guess, the big bonus.
Yeah, you don't have any outboard gear at all.
The only outboard gear is the Max BCL Waves. Shout out to Waves. Is honestly the only piece of Waves I have in my rig, and it's the hardware unit. I don't have anything else patched in.
So everything's all native.
Everything is all native in the box. I only have a few effect slots that I use. One reverb, one delay, 2 drum reverb, and 1 reverb and delay on the band, just because most of it is in the source. The sounds are programmed with the effects already, and the vocals are just, they're better raw.
Well, you have such an amazing band. They're so talented, though. You really don't need...
There's no vocal bus. The master bus is the vocal bus. The vocals are going straight. I have some de-esser patched in, and that's all in the processing there. EQ compression, de-esser, and that's what you're hearing coming out of the front of house. And I think that's the beauty of it. It's just unadulterated KSM 11 and KSM 9 capsules.
So another unique thing here is that you do not have a monitor engineer, and you're not running monitors either.
I do have a few monitor cues that so the way this console is, we can see the console here. So the way this console is programmed is that I instantly can flip to the monitor world channels. So there's a scene flip happening where I have the mixes popping and all the monitor channels.
So you can control.
I can control.
Oh, okay, cool.
And the band, in case of emergency, can mentioning that talkback system,
Yeah.
which I mentioned is crucial to have a good IEM experience. Everybody knows where a talkback mic is, can come and just say, hey, can you please fix this for me?
Well, communication is
Yes.
very important, especially at this level where you guys are at. And
Indeed.
it's awesome that you guys intentionally have a bunch of people to be able to talk to.
Indeed.
So how many talkback mics and who has them all?
We have 7 talkback mics total, which are 3 crew and 4 band. We have a musical director and Clyde's mic right in the center. We have stage right, stage left, drum talkback. We have audio FOH, we have lighting director FOH, and we have backstage crew talkback, which is currently video director. We might have to add one more in the future for another. But we have the capability of doing all this. And like I mentioned earlier, I have soft buttons.
Let's do that real fast. Let me grab this off if you don't mind real fast. All right, so walk us through a little bit of if you don't mind, of how the board is laid out.
The board is laid out. This is my front of house scene. And the scene flip only flips the faders. So the fader assignments, it doesn't do anything for the processing. So this is my front of house scene with all my front of house mixes. My talkback tab. These are all the talkback mics and audience mics. I can always bring up my talkback personal for me. And that's all in the FOH scene. And then if I need to flip the monitor scene, instantly flips to the monitor mixes. You hit the mix, and these are my monitor channels loaded up here. And then it flips to another scene for the, there's a few changes in the set that go to another set of acoustic instruments, stage left. But I have a whole other scene on top of it that I can just reassign, whole other bank of 6 banks of strips for me. But mainly I'm flipping between FOH and the monitor scene if I need. That's about it. All the mixing happens on this main page, most of it, where I have the lead vocals, sub, left, right, instruments, and a few DCAs.
Oh, so you're doing a sub on aux.
I do sub on aux, yep.
Okay.
I like it just because it gives me a better. I learned that creating a better left-right mix and then supplementing it with some sub just creates better mix for me.
Okay.
It's a style.
All right, can you walk us through some of the soft keys?
Yes, soft keys that are important on this board for me are different mute groups. I have FOH mute all, I have IEM mute all. So this, if we need to patch something in case of emergency, so no phantom power is killing people's IEMs, that's the button. FOH mute all button. I have few different set mutes for acoustic set and the main set that happen during the show. I have my left, right tap. I like to have them separate. Left, right tap. I tap them manually. There's no sync or anything.
What do you mean by left, right tap?
So left and right, I just choose my own timing kind of tap.
Is it left, right, and speaker?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a stereo delay where I just, for example, I tap 1 quarters, I tap 1 thirds, and
Wow.
it creates a nice effect. Or I tap both quarters, or I just play with it to create different.
Is that to the vocals or to?
Yes, that delay is vocals and for horns.
Okay.
It's a horn and vocal delay.
That's cool.
And it just gives me a cool, fast way to create cool like delay effects for the horn solos.
Yeah.
And for so I basically can go fast between it being a very fast slap delay to a very long delay on the same. Again, minimizing using different effects with doing a lot with very little. We have different talkbacks, which are tech talkback. I have general talkback. I have talkback to separate musicians, tech talkback, musicians talkback. And these are some delays for video wall, for the skits to delay the microphones for the video wall. Again, a separate scene that only delays the inputs. Doesn't do anything else.
We are side stage with this beautiful gentleman, specifically stage left. There'll usually be a monitor engineer here, but there's no monitor engineer over here.
There's no monitor engineer because we are on a D-Live system, which is controlled by a tablet on stage right. I believe is currently Marcel, the trumpet player, is on monitor's duty. So he is doing the changes on the director. This is our trusty D-Live CDM48. all the usual suspect Shure stuff connecting to it. Nothing to describe here. We have this system is running all the MIDI stuff for there's multiple points on stage that just connect MIDI. Over here we got
168.
168 stage left snake. I will make it a point to show you how good our snakes are later on. Here we have our trusty drum snake. And off of this we have stage right snake. Again, all the microphones are Shure. We have the usual suspects, double 57 on the snare. We have beta 98s on the toms. We have beta 52 on the kick, 91 inside. This pad trigger doesn't do any sounds. It triggers click track. The band has no backing tracks, but the band does play.
Hey, Johnny.
The band does play to a metronome. And there's a system that Johnny built, our trusty guitar player and production manager, that triggers all necessary click track, metronome track, that syncs video stuff to it and lighting stuff. Well, this is all stage left snake. We have returns from the wireless units coming in through a DI, going into pedal boards, out, going back into that Clyde's station. We have IP8 controlling Clyde's mix, just so he doesn't have to talk to anybody about his mix. He's just very quick on the changes here. This is a talkback mic, director talkback mic. DLive gives us an opportunity to build a very sophisticated, very comfortable talkback system where using some hot shots, we have multiple channels of communication between all band members, techie band members. Drum talkback is on Optogate, which is also a good upgrade. Here. Yes. So having a good talkback system is crucial for a comfortable IEM system. So we have that figured out, and it's nice and comfortable, has been steady. Talkback right, talkback left, drum talkback, director talkback. That's very important things.
What is this crazy thing you got here?
Oh, wow. Shout out Max Hunter. Max Hunter, shout out. He's built this thing. This is a button 2.0. This is a custom built device that triggers, wait, let me see. Triggers samples that the band feels worthy to upload, and a lot of it is part of the show. This is the only backing tracks in the show. Max Hunter, programmed, designed, 3D printed, built with a custom case. Case is worthy of showing it too if we get to it. We have suitcase mic'd up. I don't know, that's for B-roll if you want that.
You say a suitcase microphone?
Well, there's a 52 built in there. Huh. Hold up, this is not right. I'm glad I checked that. We have this is our Beta 52 suitcase mic up system.
That is the first ever suitcase microphone.
Sounds really good. There you go, and it's going through here.
I love the simplicity of what you guys are doing stuff from something could seem very complicated. Looks like a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, again, everything, show this B-roll of like, you know, the snakes, the snake job. Everything has to be like nice and clean. You can't like have, you know, things are labeled. We have a cool system where everything stage left is labeled with pink tape. Everything on drum riser is labeled with blue tape. I'm sure we're not the first ones to do it. Everything that goes to stage right snake is labeled with green tape.
Huh.
So when there's piles of cables at the end of the night, you know, it's easy to tell the house people, you know, all the green cables, this pile, the pink cables in this pile, blue cables in this pile. We do measure the overheads all the time.
How do you measure the overheads?
Sam usually does it with his extension cord. No high tech. We just do. We measure. I usually set up this microphone where it's comfortable above right and picking up some of like right side of the kit. He measures that distance and then goes to overhead right, and I just usually match. And I am 90% to 95% successful of doing it by eye. I say it's going to be about here. But we will confirm it when he gets here. We always do. I find it also important for the IEM mix.
I love this.
More than anything. For the IEM mix, for the drummer, when the overheads are measured, it makes them...
to make it happen.
Yeah. Again, love having everything sure, not complicating things. It's been working well.
Oh, that's great.
The consistency of it is crucial. That's why consistency of miking up the kit, the distances, I go through it every day just because it saves me so much time. By having consistency of mic placement, I can then use the playback from any venue. And that is quite literally 90% the input I'm going to get minus the bounce back, which, again, the gain structure on the kit is such that it is 95% there every night. Keyboard too, we have a nice little tucked-in keyboard. We have a whole little acoustic set. So the suitcase is part of the acoustic set. This is a desk keyboard used for a lot of sound effects, piano, another station for performance here.
These desk things are also awesome.
Okay, shout out to Emily Miller. Pan to Emily Miller.
Oh, where is she? There she is.
Emily Miller is our LD set designer, track, pack guru, load and load out guru. This is a Nick Proctor, shout out, is our video director. He's definitely responsible for it reproducing on the screens. And this is his talkback mic. Check, check. And I heard it out of the front of the house.
Are those always on, or are they set to a...
These are, these are switch on.
Okay.
Check, check. This is a switch. So this talkback only goes to the techie band members. This is not comfortable. Goes to techie band members, goes to lighting, front of house audio, and our stage manager mic. And then the hotshots on stage are also, some of it is for band communication and some of it for tech communication. That's what the hotshots do. And also on the D-Live, the 1500, I have soft buttons programmed also for multiple comfortable ways of communicating to certain band members, for show cues, or certain tech members even have a separate talk to video, I have a separate talk to techie band members and such. And shout out Nick, this is Nick Proctor, our video director.
Oh yeah, time code here?
Yes, the Ableton running time code.
If you could go back in time to when you first stepped out and did touring sound,
Yes.
what advice did you give yourself, knowing what you know
I
now?
would say surround yourself with people that appreciate good sound. That whatever good sound, first of all, teach yourself what good sound is,
Yeah.
whatever that means. And then surround yourself with people that appreciate good sound the way you like it
Yeah.
and the way you like doing it. And that would be my advice.
So this tour is a little different. You have a Beat the Street bus, which is a
Indeed.
double-decker, and you've got 15 people on this tour. With all the chaos and everything that's going on, and you're going from 15 people to here to more people, how do you quiet the noise and how do you keep your peace through everything? Because it'd be easy to just go off and
There
go
are
crazy
very
with
good noise-canceling headphones nowadays, without mentioning brands, which are like essential for the rest, for my ears to rest. And I know there's like some school of thought where it shoots some frequencies into your ear.
Yeah.
I don't know. My ears feel rested
Yeah.
with the noise cancellation thing on the bus if I need it. Yeah, and I just try to. During loadout, I plug those in as well, just to keep my ears out of, the loud noises. And as you saw the show before, I try to keep my shows way below 100 dB.
Yeah.
It's hard to do with the crowd being and people that have been, engineers that have been at my show, shout out to all of you, know that the crowd gets to 115 easily. It's hard to mix a show that is dynamic under 100 dB, but I aim for that all the time. And it's crucial to keep my ears. When you do 5 of these a week, it's a must. You got to do it for yourself first and foremost.
Speaking of this show, what's your favorite song to mix in this show?
Oh,
Or this
wow.
tour?
During the show, we have a new thing where we switch to an acoustic set. And during this acoustic set, we have full instruments playing, office instruments, and one of them is a suitcase. And it's a very cool set and a very cool set of instruments to mix out of a loud PA. It is not a quiet moment in the show by any means, but it is played on very cool acoustic instruments that people hopefully don't expect.
What's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
Rammstein.
Why?
It was a visceral experience like none
I like that, visceral.
It was a visceral experience like none other so far. I mean, I obviously have been to great concerts and have mixed on great PA and have been to big shows, loud shows, pyro shows, lighting shows, but never have I experienced a rig so in tune. Shout out to the crew.
Is this something that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Yes, just to trust, again, trust your ears and trust, learn the equipment that you use, read the manual, trust your ears.
Who are some of the engineers that you look up to?
Wow, very many big names. I look up to people that I grew up into this industry with. Shout out to all my friends in New York City whom I've done sound with.
What is one genre of music you're dying to mix for?
I would really love to mix a heavier band, something that is more guitar heavy, like a progressive metal band, something of the likes of Periphery or bands like that have heavy drums with heavy guitars.
So this band is unique to most bands because you have a horn section on here.
Indeed.
And a suitcase drum, which is cool too. But with mixing horns, what advice would you give, or how do you go into mixing that? Because it's a little bit different than most people. What's your process into that?
I try and carve, so because we use all the same packs, microphones for everyone, it actually is great for me to build different curves for each horn. And I make it a point to hear all 3 of them during the sound check at some point. And again, it's the same part of the consistency between the horn players know to clip the microphones the same way on the saxophone. Our trumpet player is the monitor engineer who syncs the pack. Shout out to Mark Langer, who is the monitor engineer who syncs the packs. He knows that they all should be same gain, that the microphones are, they're all clipped the same, the consistency of it. So during sound check, I can, again, 90%, 95% hear what the clipped on microphone is going to sound like. So it gives me really good day-to-day, easy environment.
Listening to the album, there are some songs that definitely use a lot of spatial panning type stuff. Do you do much spatial mixing with here? Or?
So in the mix, I use panning mostly to create space in the
Sure.
I don't use any
hard pans.
There's no any artistic panning happening. Everything you hear is sounds at the source. The band is creating the sounds at the source. I'm just kind of balancing them out. The only creative kind of mixing I do is just adding more delay to the parts where it's more vocal heavy and kind of drying it out for the more funky parts, which
Sure.
are most of the show.
Sure.
Is drier than normal, and that's from band remarks.
Yeah.
And, so
I think one mistake I made for mixing from clubs to bigger venues is the amount of reverb I use. For smaller rooms, I use a lot of reverb.
Indeed.
And if you use the same reverb in a room like this, it's going to be overkill for it. How do you balance that of knowing what is enough? Do you use much reverb at all? Because I think with here, because with horns,
yes,
I would use a ton of reverb
Yes.
on them. Where here, it's I don't know if necessarily I'd need it all.
indeed. I'm a big proponent of supplementing. I really try not to basically mix from top down. I mix from kind of bottom up. So I supplement where the room needs a little bit more. And like I said, I'm very effect light. It's very, it's very few, all my effects fit on one tab right here. So I can control it very fast if I feel like it's needed.
One of the most important parts for also mixing rooms of these size that you don't necessarily do at the house level is tuning for the PA. Because this is only as good as that can get, and you're going to only be able to get so good with using
Indeed.
this. What is your process when you walk into a room and tuning the room? Are you doing an RTA with some peak noise? Are you doing virtual sound check? Are you trusting the house person that they have it dialed pretty good? What's your process with that?
Mainly trusting the house guy because of how the mainly on crew right now, the crew works the way I don't get to open up my front of house until way later in the day, just because I'm doing other things. And honestly, by the time I just get to plug in and hear the PA, mostly counting on the house guys. Shout out to the house guys at the Tabernacle. None of them are here, but I would drag them onto camera. Shout out to the house guys at the Tabernacle. Sounds incredible here. Trusting the guys. Definitely always hearing a quick pink noise, which again, just to like make sure it kind of sounds pink noisy to me. Then quickly switching to like the latest song on my playlist, something that I know what it should sound. You know, like it's not anything that I listen to. I used to have a playlist of like songs that I know that sound. I just listen to something that's on my playlist.
Yeah.
That same day, that same night, and then virtual sound check. Like I said, and those channels are usually from the either show before or a couple of shows before. If it was a show before that was weird space, I would maybe take something that was drier just to like. So that's the process. Very quick. All takes under 4. You saw it.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
All in all, maybe.
Well, it's smart to trust the house guys because
Yeah.
they spend the most time in here.
Yes, I mean.
Don't get me wrong. There's
not
some that are
always-
kind of whack, but like for the most part.
Sometimes it's wacky, but again, trusting my mix, just knowing that coming in, unplugging at the levels that I don't come from a venue that is, unusual. I come from a venue that is a standard venue on everybody's tour. So just trusting the rig and unmuting usually would sound pretty good too. So
I'd say that
I don't go try and like
Yeah.
have a conversation with the sound guy about the processor. And please, no, I don't have time for that, honestly. So just it's whatever it is.
Well, I'd say that being nice is also a huge deal as well. And I've noticed that even with the band members, they'll go out and thank local people or thank production here. And being nice to these house guys, they want to help you out
Goes
even more.
a long way, absolutely. Always nice to the crew. Always remember their names. Always try and be as helpful to them as well. Like on the way out, I'll never forget the way out. Be quick on the way out. Oh my God, so. They appreciate that. They appreciate you not just like hanging out there after a show with the beer in hand. They see you, so it's a relationship that is. And coming back to a house that remembers you. Oh my God, I have a few venues on this run that like I'm looking forward to just because the crew
how cool is
just
that?
so great, and they can't wait to see us.
That's so great.
It's mutual.
We got a couple minutes, and I kind of want to wrap this up a little bit, but a couple of questions I want to ask you. I know routines are very important. They're helpful. Even just walking up here, I saw you going through your steps for this. Tell me about your morning routine. What do you go through?
Morning routine. On tour is usually climbing out of the bunk straight to the espresso machine on the bus. Is the morning routine, and then just kind of like reassembling myself and prepping for the day ahead.
Yep. First thing you do when you walk into the venue?
Just check the stage and the loading route.
That's
not glamorous at all. Again, none of that PA. I usually talk to the sound. The sound guy usually finds me. Again, in the best way. And like usually, I'm not there to discuss any of their practices.
Yeah.
So I'm there to just kind of be the best guest I can, and hopefully the sound is good.
Tell me about the craziest mix you've ever had to do.
Craziest mix would probably have to be. Shout out to my NYC crew. One of the open mics. I cut my teeth on doing open mics. So probably like one of those nights when somebody shows up with a vibraphone and like oud and a couple of or like 5 open mics and a drummer and a keyboard, and they're all doing arrangement of, I don't know, Shooting Star. These are the things that kind of like teach you, how to work fast.
Yeah. Well, man, I know we're kind of running out of time. If people want to follow you and follow your career, where can they follow you at?
I am everywhere at Leo Pisaq, which is Leopisaq. Leo Pisaq.
Or come to a Lawrence show near you. See him at front of house, poke him with a stick. If you want to support this channel, please go over to Patreon. You can get early access to it and help support doing more things like this.
Thank you so much.
We did it, baby.